So we've talked about Modern Warfare 3 here a lot recently, and for good reason. With all the reveals and everything happening, there's been a lot to digest. But today I want to take a quick break from that in the coverage here to come back to the here and now, what we've got in front of us immediately as Modern Warfare 2 Season 5 Reloaded is upcoming, and we're going to start seeing promotions and marketing here for seemingly on Monday at the start of the week. But in the meantime, I wanted to fill you in on what you need to know ahead of everything coming. So as we go along, drop your thoughts down below. What do you think of Season 5 Reloaded from our quick at-a-glance viewpoint? Do you like what you see, dislike it? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. But if you enjoy the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to stay up to date with all things with continued coverage of Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, as well as other content upcoming here for things like XDefiant ahead of its launch. So I'd love to have you in the community if you're at all interested. And finally, check out my friends over at G Fuel, 30% off certain items in the month of August here with code Espresso linked down below, but more on that a little later. So for now, let's jump into it. First, when is Modern Warfare 3's mid-season update? So while we've always kind of really been able to infer when the mid-season updates have been for Modern Warfare 2 in games of the past, this season as well as the last have actually done a much better job here and given us a countdown as to when to expect it explicitly. With the introduction of the new challenge sets for weapons in the mid-season, those coming along in the Battle Pass map sectors, we saw the MX Guardian and at least one of the ones upcoming here for this mid-season's offering, introducing a new sort of countdown timer in the Battle Pass. Listed as classified and with a countdown of days until this upcoming Wednesday, we know for sure that the update will be happening for mid-season on the 30th. So mark your calendars for 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific time on Wednesday, and that's when we'll be able to have that update and new content for Modern Warfare 2, Warzone, and all the other subsequent changes. Now, as for content, let's take a look at what we have on offer and what we know of so far. Firstly, multiplayer content. We do know that we'll have one more additional map here coming within Season 5 Reloaded, that being DRC Zone 1. This being modeled after, perhaps actually being taken from Building 21 from DMZ. It's not quite known just yet if it'll be taken from DMZ or if it's just something inspired by the area of DMZ, but it is mentioned that the map is located around the visitor center of Building 21, and that is a small-sized map focused on fast-paced combat where shortcuts, outflanking, and consistent action is to be expected. But that's all the details that they have given us up front here. Of course, we'll see some of more details in those blog posts coming on Monday and Tuesday leading into the Wednesday update, but that's what we know of for maps so far. Weaponry, we know of actually 3 new ones, this including a new SMG, a new handgun, and a pickaxe melee weapon. Now, from the silhouetted images on the roadmap for Season 5, it seems like that new SMG and that new handgun looks to be like an MP5 SD and a Staccato 2011, a more modernized 1911, both of which have been found in the game files, but how their designations will be in-game, we don't quite know. I'd imagine the MP5 SD follows that Lockman sub sort of designation, maybe the Lockman sub SD or something like that, since we just saw the M13C added past the M13B, but anyways, at least one of these will be available in the Battle Pass. As mentioned, the Battle Pass shows us that time and a new sector that will unlock with that mid-season update. With the MX Guardian, we ended up seeing 5 challenges associated with each of those air quote tiers inside there, and that will be the way that you unlock at least, again, one of those. The pickaxe, likely going to be something that is in a bundle and or a weapon challenge, and perhaps that remaining projectile weapon will also be in a challenge and store bundle. For modes coming at mid-season, we'll see a couple. We'll see Gunfight Snipers, Armored Gunfight, and Face-Off 4v4. Gunfight Snipers is described as tool up with your favorite sniper or marksman rifle, leave the secondary, tacticals, and lethals at home. So that'll be a fun little one here, kind of like a snipers only mosh pit. Armored Gunfight is described as needing more protection for your 2v2 skirmishes. Well then, welcome to Armored Gunfight, a variation of the fan favorite mode featuring standard gunfight rules with one distinct difference. Armor is enabled. Each squad comes into the fight with 150 HP of armor, 100 health, and no replacement placed or health regeneration. All other gunfight rules apply. And then Face-Off 4v4, that is something that I've been waiting for quite some time. Obviously, it's not exactly 6v6 just yet. I'd like to see that still go a little further, but it's definitely a lot more chaotic action and something that keeps you in the action like you would, say, Shipment, but not on Shipment. You have all these different maps that are going to be introduced here for small scale with gunfight, but much closer to that 6v6 core gameplay at that point. 4v4 on paper should be an okay compromise, still keep the pace up, but also not be overkill, but I'm an overkill fiend. I'd love to see 6v6 on some of these gunfight maps, even if it just makes 0 sense. I'm an agent of chaos. I love that kind of stuff. But anyways, those are going to be coming as your modes. For the events in season here at mid-season, we have new camo and vehicle challenge events, where it's described as players of both Modern Warfare 2 and Call of Duty Warzone should expect further unlock challenges as Season 5 continues, not least a series of tasks related to expertise with vehicles, as well as an in-depth camo challenge with suitably impressive rewards. Now, as for what the vehicles entails, I honestly have no idea how they're going to take that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something that is along the lines of just kind of like a whimsical challenge set, kind of how they introduced tricks on the dirt bike in a whimsical fashion. That's something that is just totally not serious to the gameplay, but it's fun for those that want to just mess around. Kind of expect maybe get some vehicle skins out of doing challenges like that here. But as for the camo, well, we kind of know what to expect here at that, at least in some regard. If it follows anything like what we saw the last couple of seasons, we should have categorical challenges where you'll have a challenge set for assault rifles, SMGs, LMGs, pistols, so on and so forth until you complete every single category, giving you a mastery camo of each category once you complete, again, the challenges for rifles, LMGs, SMGs, and so on. But if you complete all of those, it'll grant you an overall additional mastery camo here. Now, one thing that I'm very curious on is that we, of course, saw the 2 camos introduced for the overall mastery rewards of the Faction Showdown event at the beginning of the season, in which case Shadow Company ended up winning that. And for those that completed all of the challenges from the Shadow Company side of the event, they were rewarded with the Blood Cell animated camo. However, one camo was not granted, and it's actually still visible in-game, which is the curious part, is that of the Polished camo. An orangish black wave animated camo with accents of some like silver carbon fiber aesthetic. I wouldn't be surprised if that camo in particular actually is the overall mastery for the camo sets upcoming with mid-season, simply because, again, it is still in the game files, has not been removed, it's still visible in the menus, so just kind of seems like they're going to add it in at some point, if that makes sense. Maybe we're wrong, maybe we're right, but anyways, we'll have new camo events and vehicle challenge events with mid-season as well. To round out the content that we know of for multiplayer, we'll have Mace, 21 Savage, and Lara Croft as new operators being introduced, those all being in bundles though, so don't really care to stay on topic with that one too much. Beyond that, as for Warzone content, we'll see an air quote new Resurgence map, that being Fort Resurgence. Essentially, they're taking Fortress from Al Mazrah and segmenting it into its own singular Resurgence game mode. So it's described as a slice of Al Mazrah specifically for the Al Bagar Fortress, and its greater surroundings will be added to the Resurgence map rotation in Season 5. No matter how you spend time in Al Mazrah across Call of Duty Warzone and Modern Warfare 2, this map will slot in alongside Ashika Island and Vandal for the Resurgence rotation playlists. So adding another map here into that rotation, we have, of course, that rotation on 15 minutes. So theoretically speaking, with this being added in, 3 on rotation, it'll take 45 minutes to get that full rotation again. So if you miss, say, Vandal, you have to wait another half hour for that to open up, and then you have a 15-minute window to take advantage of Vandal once again. So I'm going to be curious to see, 1, the reception of this, 2, how it actually plays out and what the sizing will be, if it's just dumbed down at all, or if it's going to straight up just be the entire play count of regular Resurgence in Al Bagar Fortress, because that's a pretty tight-knit area by comparison, if my guesstimation is correct. But anyways, that's going to be added in. We'll see Armored Royale being added with the MRAP returning in Season 5. It gives opportunity for the Armored Royale to come back. So for those that played it in Warzone 1, it's essentially like a protect your roaming fortress game mode where you can repair it, you can upgrade it, but it's something that is kind of a lifeline for you and your team. So that's stuff that we know of in Warzone and in multiplayer, but there are some interesting points of question, I think, with Season 5 that, of course, the marketing may answer here on Monday and Tuesday, but the update itself certainly will. Firstly, a Warzone map update. Will we have one here for Al Mazrah and the regular Battle Royale experience? Doesn't seem like Ranked is going to be changing because we haven't seen anything apply to Ranked just yet. We still essentially have the original version of Al Mazrah, even though we have the Dust Storms off in the distance and City in the regular Battle Royale rotation. But, I mean, if you think about it, we just had that reveal event that blew up Zaya Observatory, and it's doable in regular BR. You can access those subsidiary bunkers if you blow it up in a standard Battle Royale match, even after the event is finished. So that seems like a lot of work to entirely overhaul an area and build out new areas of play if we don't get to use it at all, or we only get to use it for a few days. So my question is, do we see an updated Al Mazrah with Observatory blown up as a sort of updated POI in Season 5 Reloaded and beyond? Or is it just something that, again, we kind of had all that resource dumped into it, but then nothing ever comes of it? Next, DMZ content. Is there going to be any? Nothing was detailed. We did see a pretty top-heavy Season 5 update with content pushing towards DMZ, so maybe there's something, maybe there's not. Just keep an eye out on that. And then finally, will there be anything to really replace the sort of raids that we ended up seeing? Because we had, of course, the finale last season, but I'm kind of bummed, even though the story didn't progress really at all in 9 months of the raids being out there. I'm bummed because I really enjoyed the veteran raid camos and the Easter egg camos that each raid update afforded. I loved having something to grind out like that, So maybe we see something, maybe we don't. But anyways, that's where we're at, and that's everything we know about with the Season 5 Reloaded update so far and what we have upcoming later this upcoming week. So that said, that is where we're going to wrap it up. Before I do, make sure to check out my friends over at G Fuel. Code Espresso gets you 30% off certain items in the month of August. Hype sauce tubs, hibiscus tea tubs, and others are all discounted to 30% off, 20% off everything site-wide with Code Espresso. But some of that stuff, again, hype sauce is a great flavor. You can get 30% off with Code Espresso if you'd like to check it out, but that's entirely up to you. Link in the description below if you guys are at all interested. But for now, that's what we're going to call it. So let me know your thoughts down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, X-Defiant, and even more stuff here as we push towards an honestly pretty action-packed fall to winter period for games here upcoming. So I'd love to have you in the community if you're interested in any of that. But for now, that's what we're going to call it. So thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.